Okay. Are we serious right now? Holy hell. Is all I can freaking say. Now, I did theorize in my last video and the video before that about who would be biting the big one in the upcoming episode, being 5, because we were told that one of our main characters was going to be getting killed. And I had theorized, I said, hey, it could be Itadori. The main point of the story is that once you get all the fingers, he's going to get executed. The powers that be want him to die, and a concern of mine that I had was, how can you do the entire story based on just getting Sukuna's fingers and then killing the main character? There's got to be something else, or else that'd be too short in my opinion. And I don't know if this is to nullify that, but I was like, if they kill him off and he somehow comes back to life being a part of Sukuna, then he's technically dead and died. They can't execute him after that, so that would be a workaround of that plot point, and that would be really neat. But leading into the episodes, it was becoming more and more probable that it would be Megumi Fushiguro that would die. We got to see some more bonding between him and Itadori during the big fight against the cursed grade, or the special grade curse. We had some more of his backstory, about like how he lamented how his father named him Megumi and such. In the time he spent with Gojo in like when they first met the Nabara, just seemed kind of like hey, these are the guys that are going to be taking your place, kind of like passing the torch kind of thing. But I always had that possibility. It's like, maybe they'll kill off the main character. And they did. Like, I still can't believe it. Okay, so the episode picks up with the last one I thought. I mean, yeah, it's a part 2, so we'd expect that. But it's quick to the action. Sukuna just shows up, standing there talking to Megumi, talking smack, and then he sticks his fucking hand into his chest, rips out Itadori's heart, and just throws it to the ground. And he's like, I don't need this shit, fam. But your boy does, and he can't live without it. So now he ain't gonna come back, because he ain't gonna sacrifice himself. And Megumi's like, no, he will when he sees that there's no other way. He'll kill himself to save other people. And Sukuna's like, nah, bitch, he was up in there. You should have seen him. He was crying and whining, pissing his pants about not wanting to die and all this shit. And Megumi's like, I ain't having it, dog. So then they proceed to fight. Before that, Sukuna eats another one of the fingers. And I believe Fushiguro said that, isn't it odd, or something to the degree that it's odd that all these curses, or, in such an area have all these fingers. And that plays into what Gojo says later. A quick note, he eats another finger, getting even more powerful. Proceeds to beat the dog shit out of Fushiguro. It's not even a challenge. It's like Perfect Cell versus the Z Fighters before Rage Mode Super Saiyan 2 Gohan stepped in. I mean, it was pretty bad. He didn't stand a chance. He's throwing out all of his little different pets or whatever they are, his curses. I know Sukuna makes mention that they're used by shadows, and he's like, interesting that you ran back then. What such a waste of talent when they were fighting the special grade. So, you're like, well, maybe there's some hidden talents that Megumi hasn't really discovered yet. And maybe when we get this thing with Sukuna solved, he'll teach him about it or something. I don't know how the story's going to go. I haven't read the manga. Not yet, but I'm starting to lean towards wanting to. But, Sukuna just whoops his ass, throws him all over the fucking city, quite literally all over the fucking city. And he's sitting there about to get killed. Itadori finally takes over his body again, surprising Sukuna. And then as he's falling over dead, he tells Megumi, he's like, you and the gang live you guys live long, good lives or whatever. and then he dies. Then we go on to Gojo sitting there with the body, and they're talking, and then, you know, I mentioned it, and I know some other people have mentioned it too, that isn't it a little strange that they sent 3 first years to fight a special grade, you know, tier 1 demon curse or whatever, all while the Gojo is on another mission, and you coincidentally send in the first year that you're wanting to have executed. Well, Gojo pretty much reiterates that exact same statement. You know, he's like, to me, it seems like it's a plot of the higher-ups. They wanted him dead, and they want to smear my name. And so they use my absence as a reason to send these first years into a case that's far beyond their talent. You know? And so then, being the savage beast that Gojo is, he's like, well, guess I gotta kill all the higher-ups. I'm like, oh my god, Gojo, you animal. When conventions start back up, I'm telling you right now, Gojo cosplays are going to be everywhere. When Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online became big in the mainstream, all you saw was Asuna and Kirito and Eren Yeager cosplays. Then My Hero came out and it's all Deku cosplays. Well, now it's about to be fucking Sukuna and Gojo cosplays. I'm calling that right now. That's my prediction. But I'm not hating. I might even do on Gojo myself because he is a fucking savage. Then this doctor lady comes in. I don't recall her name. She was only on screen for a short period. But she's like, you know, I don't really see you get this emotional about your students and stuff. And then she's talking about how she can dissect his body. And then they make a mention that, is he really dead or something. And that'll play into the end of the episode in a moment. But then we pan to what Fushiguro and Kugisaki are doing. You know, they're sitting around, they're sad, they're like, hey man, we only knew the guy for 2 weeks, you know, it sucks he's dead and shit, but you can tell they're both really fighting back their tears because they were starting to really get a bond with Itadori. And then this group of second year students pops up, and we're introduced to this girl named Maki. I want to say it's Makizini, something, but I call her Maki. Other cat whose name I don't know, but he looks like Ken Kaneki, so Ken Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul, and a motherfucking panda. Okay, a panda. Love pandas. Just throwing that out there. He's a freaking panda. He might be my favorite character aside Gojo, just because he's a motherfucking panda. Just saying. But alright, I love me some Kukisagi. Apologies if I keep fucking her name up. I know, dude, but I can tell you right now, this Maki girl, that's gonna be my girl. I can almost guarantee it. Okay. She's my waifu. Got on it now. But, you know, she comes up, she's like, what the fuck y'all laying about like somebody's dead? And then the other two are hiding up behind a statue, and they're like, actually, you know, their partner did just die. She's like, now I look like a fucking bitch! Wonderful. But anyways, she goes on to inform them that there is a competition coming up against another Jujutsu tech school, and that they have to fight because the third years have been suspended. Now, I want to know is, why were the third years suspended? You know, I mean, did they do something super outlandishly bad? Because you're quote-unquote supposedly so short-staffed that you sent a fresh batch of recruits to an unbelievably out-of-their-league mission that resulted in the death of one of your most promising students, all because you claim you didn't have enough people to spare. Yet you have time to suspend other students that would have been more capable of handling the situation. Yeah, as you can tell, it's all starting to come together that something really fishy's going on here. Unless there's something really bad they did, but literally the fate of the world could possibly be at stake here. You know, what the fuck could they have done? But I digress. You know, but Fushiguro and Kugisaki, they're like, yeah, you know, if we don't like this, we're bouncing, but we want to get stronger. So they agree. Then we are introduced to some new characters. And I know the review's a little off spot because we've already seen them at this point, I believe. But regardless, they're a group of, well, one appears to be a human with this kind of Stein look from Soul Eater going on with the scar across the head and shit, or a parallel world Professor Farnsworth. But he's talking to some other demons and shit, cursed spirits. They're talking about how, hey, was that really worth it to test the strength of Sukuna? And then they make mention of Itadori's name. So I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? And what is their play in all this? Because one of the spirits mentions that his boss is wanting something. I forget, like he's wanting power or wanting to come to the world or something. I really can't remember. Apologies. But, it's kind of like hinting at, are these people connected with the higher-ups? Is this guy one of the higher-ups that led to Itadori dying? Is there demons out there that are gunning for Sukuna? Is this going to play into what I was saying earlier, that eventually they'll have to use Sukuna to fight a more powerful group of demons or something? I don't know. But it's really interesting. And we're only 5 episodes in and we're already throwing hands with what appears to be the main antagonist of this arc, which is pretty soon for a 24-25 episode anime. But it is seasonal, so there is that. I just don't want them to rush this because it has been pure gold so far. Freaking love it. If they keep coming at me like this, I'm not sure if I can wait for a season 2. I might just jump straight into the freaking manga. But yeah, then the end of the episode, as I said earlier about them talking about Itadori being is he really dead? We see Itadori inside what, for lack of a better comparison, his inner hollow world. And we see Sukuna sitting up there on a throne over some skulls and shit, looking like the sick, savage-ass beast that he is. And they're about to have a discussion. So, I don't know how, but I'd bet money that either Itadori is going to come back to life, or he's going to be kind of like, I don't want to say a zombie, but kind of like just an animated corpse. Either way, I'm assuming this is going to be used in a way to say, hey, he's already died. You can't kill him now. And eventually they're going to be like, shit, well, we need his ass anyways. So I'm really hot to see how that's going to go. But what some comparisons I get to see thrown around and that I agree with is that, hey, this ain't like Libe from Black Clover or Kurama from Naruto and fucking Hollow Bitch from Bleach. I would say he's probably mostly comparable to the latter two earlier in the series, but mostly comparable to the Bleach's Ichigo's Hollow, because he don't give a fuck. Okay, and something that kind of separates him from Ichigo's Hollow is that when he was fighting Byakuya, he forcefully took over the body so that Ichigo would have a chance to win. But when they were fighting for their lives in this shit, Sukuna's like, nah, fuck, man. I don't give a fuck. Die. I don't need your ass to live. I'll find another body. So, he's a stone cold savage who doesn't give a fuck. And that's something he's very different than these other shonen inner demons for the most part. Just everything about it is kind of like a breath of fresh air. I had mentioned in my first review that I think this was going to attack or scratch that itch for shonen fans, especially ones that are really into Demon Slayer, because it's got that dark supernatural element, and also is along the same lines of Bleach, and the author being inspired by Yoshihiro Togashi, and we see some of the Yu Yu Hakusho vibes in this episode. Yeah, it's definitely going to scratch that dark fantasy itch for a lot of people, especially until Bleach and Mugen Train come out. So yeah, I mean, Shonen's like shit. We want the next big hit. Well, I think you found it, because if you don't bring back Demon Slayer, this shit's already sold around 10 million copies of the manga. So I think you found it. It could fall off, but I think you found it. So, what do you guys think? Are you surprised? If you haven't read the manga, were you shocked as I was that they actually went and killed off the main character? Who do you think's responsible? Is it this group of new curses that we saw? Is the higher ups really trying to take out Gojo? How's Gojo going to respond? Because I know he's talking game, and I know he can back up his game, but it seems like it causes a lot of problems if he killed all the leaders. But Gojo don't give a fuck, man. I'm telling you. You know, what do you think is going to happen in this conversation/confrontation between Sukuna and Itadori? How do you think the preparations in the fight for the second years and first years going against the Jujutsu Tech sorcerers, other school rivalry or whatever? How's that going to go down? What are you expecting? What are you excited for? Are you hype? Are you buying into this? Is this kind of pushing you away now? Are you bored? Is this scratching your itch for that Demon Slayer Bleach-esque anime for right now? Drop a like, comment, subscribe, throw your theories out there, go wild, and we'll see you next time.